Hello, this is a screencast on the Toolbox assignment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the old rubric, which some people saw last week, and the new rubric. And then I created a sample assignment of my own to show you the kinds of things that I'd be expecting. So the old rubric is broken down into an assignment of marks for, first of all, having a formal written submission, which really essentially amounts to having a Microsoft Word document. It's worth 35% in the total of the course, so it should stand for something. So I'm looking for a little bit of formatting, which would be a title page. And then I've included here a table of contents, but I've added here, this is not critical because this is not a course in writing papers or a course in using Microsoft Word. So if you're unfamiliar with the features of Microsoft Word that help you create a table of contents, don't worry about it. But you should be able to give me examples of tools that you've developed, and ideally what I'm looking at is that you're developing something that's new for this course, not something that you're already doing. And I would expect that when I read your examples, it's clear. What do I mean by clear? Well, you have to consider the audience or the readers. Do they understand what the toolbox item is? Is it something that they could potentially use or modify for their own use? Although very specific examples of things that are instrumental and related to trades may not apply anywhere else, and I totally understand that. And in this example, I have one that probably wouldn't fit other people's uses. In terms of quality, I'm looking for you to run spell check. That should be logical and that I understand what it is. It should be relevant. Relevance here would really focus on the idea that the example you've given connects back to some of the chapters that we've covered. It should be valuable. It's a value-added activity for you to create this because you're going to be able to use it. And it should reflect a reasonable standard of effort. And the way I like to think about a reasonable standard of effort is that when I sit down to grade your work, if I write you more feedback than the content that's in your submission to me to be graded, I don't think that reflects a reasonable standard of work. So this is my title page. This is my table of contents. And I'm not reinventing the wheel on this, so I'm using things that I did in this course already and from other courses, because this is an example after all. So I've got an explanation of Peachy Coochie here. And then I've got a couple of links to PowerPoints, which I'm going to include when I make my submission in BlackBoard. And I've explained and given you a copy again of the assignment that I used in the class while I was teaching Facilitating Learning in the IDEP 2014. My second item in the toolbox is the broken squares. I've had this in my toolbox for a long time. I facilitated first day when we met, and copies of this have been made available to all of you. So I've included it here, and almost anybody could use this. In the explanation, I try to connect this to the work that we're doing in the chapters we covered. I could use this as an icebreaker, that's for establishing relationships, or as an object lesson in team building and cooperation. So those are a couple of chapters that connects to. More of the broken squares instructions. Finally, I shared with you the tug-of-war story. I brought it up to the Polycom camera, and it was sitting on the desk. A very short explanation here, what it connects to and the chapters that we covered, and I included a picture. And finally, I have a case study, which I used for a Sociology of Aging course, and I used it for creating variety in my course and to challenge students. And then this goes into a lengthy detail of what that case study is. And of course, that's something that other people could potentially use, although this may have very little applicability to anybody else's courses. But you get the idea of a case study, and that you can construct those kinds of things for your courses. And that's it.